Wholeness, beautiful beings. Welcome to my channel. My name is Rashida Silvertree, and today's topic is digital vampirism. Buying into someone else's interpretation of your life. Protect your energy. We're living in some very interesting times. Intuitively, I always knew the 2020s would be very interesting indeed. And 2024 is definitely going to be very interesting because of what's happening. If you live in the U.S., culturally, there's a humongous cultural shift going on right now, and we're in the middle of it. And it primarily deals with technology. And so it's almost like a blend of technology or digital, or I'll just say, technology and politics, technology and sexuality and sexual identity, really, technology and health. Like there's this morph, there is this blending of our human experiences with this digital virtual world that we're feeding and we're creating, we're manifesting. Protecting your energy at this time by far is paramount. I remember I grew up in the last generation where there were no cell phones. At least, I know cell phones have been around since probably the late 80s, but they're it was like it was like a car phone or whatnot. It was just kind of experimental kind of thing. And most people didn't have cell phones. No one really had cell phones. If anything, I think Japan probably, they were very much ahead of the game when it came to, new devices. But I remember where someone said, "Hey, I'm going to give you a call tonight." You knew that you had to be at that location where they were going to call you. You know what I'm saying? You just showed up. If your friend said, "Hey, meet us at the park at 7 o'clock," you would go. You would meet them at 7 o'clock, knowing that they would be there. And not really knowing that they would be there. Actually, you just would go because you would have faith that they'd show up at the time they said that they would show up. You didn't have a way to constantly be in contact with someone. Or even traveling. I remember as a little girl, we traveled a lot, growing up. We'd go on family vacations, or we just move, and my mom would want to take day trips to Chicago or to Rochester, New York, when we lived in New York for a while. We didn't have GPS. We just had a road atlas, a road map, that's it. No one had printers at home. It was just different. You had to figure out, you had to look at the map and figure out what roads to take. It's just, and now it's like you have people that can't even get around their own city without a GPS. And I'm guilty of it too. If I move to a new city, I don't know the city well, I use GPS until I force myself to memorize location and it's just that we live in such a different era now, and there's a whole generation that has no clue how to survive without a GPS or some kind of tracking device. I really see what, people that are double my age, they're in their 60s or 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And when they say, "Oh, it wasn't like this when I was growing up," I feel that. I feel that shit real deep. I feel it. I totally do. It's just a weird feeling. And I almost feel like there's this overexposure of our energy in today's culture. There's an overexposure. Like, you have to say what you feel and share it with the whole world. You have to share every thought and opinion with everybody. You have to be transparent. You have to expose your where you live, how you live, you know, with these, like, sometimes I'll cuz I and that's the thing, I like what I like. People like what they like, and so they watch what they like, and they tune into what they like, and they resonate, and they attach themselves to what they like. And so in the digital world, I'll come across like videos of people who live out in the boonies, out in the countryside, and they have a very simple, quiet life. I like that. That's the type of life I aspire to have one day. I mean, I kind of do already. It's pretty quiet. But, you know, they just live off the land and whatnot. But it's like, are you truly present? There's a lack of presence. There's a lack of presence now. Everything has to be so, everyone's got to know what everyone's doing. And I feel like in the next 5 to 10 years, privacy will be such a what's the word I'm trying to find? Like, privacy will be such a commodity. And it will be scarce. It will be something you're going to have to fork over money to preserve. Your employer is going to want to know like the ins and outs of your life. And it's almost like if you don't have any digital or social presence, then people automatically become suspicious of you. What are you trying to hide? You know? Who are you? Oh, you don't have social media? Okay, I can't be friends with you. Or, okay, you're a little sus. You know, I don't know what you're about. There's no profile picture. There's no evidence of your life, of how you live and your views and your principles and your F-ups, right? Your mistakes that you've made. There has to be some kind of digital line or digital trail to figure you out. Yet they can't even have a face-to-face conversation with you. They can't go out for coffee. I'm a tea drinker. They can't go out and, you know, they have to know something before getting to know you. But we're all walking, talking universes. We are galaxies within ourselves. Where untapped pure potentiality awaits us. But yet we expose ourselves without really knowing ourselves, you know, and we copycat each other. And, you know, I find we're headed towards a very homogenous, normative society where people will look alike, talk alike, be alike, speak alike, create alike, and do things a certain way. And if you truly, truly, truly want to communicate, or not communicate, but connect with the authentic part of yourself, it's almost like you'll be treated like you're spyware, like you're or a what do they call that, a virus, malware, not spyware, malware. Like, we got a rogue program over here. She or he or they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're not programmed. They're not doing what we program them to do. And you're really going to stick out like a sore thumb if you're not going along, if you're not getting down with the get down. And it's just weird. This, does anyone else feel like that? Where you just feel like society is so exposed? But then there's beauty in that too. Because we feel less alone. Like, oh, okay, they're going through that too. You can really help people. I see a lot of good in the digital virtual world. You know, Skyping sucks. I don't like that. What's the other one that we had to use during the lockdown? holding meetings and stuff. I can't think of it right now. When we couldn't meet in person and so everything was online. Like ugh, it was annoying. There's some things you just have to do in person. But the sharing is what it brings out the caring in people. And then it can also bring out the demonic in people, the dark in people, where people will pull together and, go on the attack mode. So yeah, I just wanted to share that bit because you have to be very careful when taking someone's interpretation of something. Meaning you have to be mindful and heartful of when you're consuming someone's interpretation of a situation that you don't have enough evidence on. Like that saying goes, you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Another person's perspective of the truth may be distorted because the information they received was distorted. And the information where that came from, there's misinformation. And that is a downside in this digital age where things can be very misconstrued and very mixed up and things are left out or things are added, and then that's packaged and delivered into the virtual world and into our mind, into our hearts and consciousness, and we think that a truth is true and is so far from it. We must be very, very, very diligent and careful. I'm starting to see things like programmed oh gosh, what was it? Like just these bots, or when I click on a video and it seems like an interesting topic, it's like the voiceover, like someone just writes out their video essay, and then they'll have a robotic voice. Like it's just the laziness. That's the birth of laziness, because Aquarius can be, I heard one person say, I forgot who said this, but they said in the age of Aquarius, it can be very whimsical and very airy-fairy, just really kind of ungrounded type of energy, and it's very dreamy like, and you can lack actually doing the things that need to get done. And and I'm seeing this like with, for example, Grammarly is a program and service where you download it and it automatically fixes your grammatical errors. Yes, this is helpful for people who don't speak English, right, or whatever other language, but English, I think this is primarily for the English language, where it's not their first language, right? And so they need help when they're trying to write a letter or an email, to a boss or to their employer or something. I understand that to a T, to a certain extent, but it's creating intellectual laziness. Guys, really. And I'm going to make more videos on the war on literacy, because that's what's happening. Literacy is going to go out the window. Everything will be automatic. It will get to the point where your professor will ask you, please write a 10-page paper. And what you're going to do is you're going to plug into an AI program, give them the topic that you want, and that AI is going to write out your 10-page paper for you. They're already doing that with art. You watch on some of these YouTube videos, okay? And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It looks like an oil painting somewhat. But you even pick the style of your art. It's called Wonder, I think. Yeah, it's Killing Wonder. And you write in, like, for example, I saw one for Napoleon Bonaparte. So you put Napoleon Bonaparte on a horse going to battle. And then you plug that in, the AI takes it, and they'll create a whole beautiful image, and you use that as your own. Come on now. They're going to do that with the same way with reading and writing. Literacy is going to go out the window. We have to protect our energy at this time, guys. I don't know how long and how many videos I'll make. I really don't. How long I'll keep my digital presence. I am working on a really something really big for you guys, but that I have other passions I definitely want to share with you over time. But in 5-10 years time, I don't know, I might just be out, traveling on a farm somewhere, homestead, connecting with the land, because that's what's real to me. Reality, presence. Digital world has its place, but I'm raising these questions within myself, and I'm sharing these questions with you all, because it's concerning, because I'm getting back into education, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, you have kids who don't know how to write a full complete sentence, and they're in the 7th grade. Cursive? What's cursive? Like, cursive is gone. Cursive is no longer needed. Oh, my hair is just doing what it wants to do. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. And what I mean by buying someone else's interpretation. Buying. We're all buying all the time. We're programmed to believe that money is the physical manifestation of the energy exchange. You do something, you receive something. You receive something, you give something. That's buying. It's an energy exchange. The money is a representation of an exchange, okay? That people sadly kill other people for. And people will go to war for. Okay? People will commit heinous crimes. People will marry for it. Marry the wrong person. Just for this energy exchange, just money, right? I don't know. I feel like I'm a little all over the place, but it's okay. I'm not gonna beat myself up. I'm not perfect. But thank you for tuning in. If you did watch the whole 17 minutes, yeah, I'll continue making random videos on random topics that I find are interesting, and it's just food for the heart, food for the soul, food for the mind. These are thoughts that I have, what's taking place in our world and on our planet. All right, guys. Thank you. See you next time.